Sup guys, Spacey here, and let's cut to the chase with this one. 2023 is almost over, and it's that time of the year where I do another retrospective. Hooray! I am going to keep this intro short since I don't really have much to mention in terms of the culture and real life stuff. Thanks to Twitter being a lot more politically balanced now, we didn't see as many astroturfed movements come out of it. Which is honestly a great thing in the long run, since honestly, that kind of thing only really works for a few months, and then it just kinda ends up being obnoxious and fails on every single level. I still don't really like Musk's takeover of Twitter. God knows I hate the fucker as much as the next person. But at least the restoration of balance has made the world a little bit more saner. Lord knows we need that more than ever. As for real life stuff, yeah, there isn't really much to talk about, considering there really wasn't that many grand events compared to 2022. There is going to be a bit of a talk about my real life at the end of this retrospective, but that's more towards a more personal side of things rather than something more specific about life. And besides, it's going to be talk about more about what could hold in the future rather than what kind of stuff exists in the present. But anyways, let's not dilly-dally around the topic of this video, and let's move on to the actual stuff I made this year. Starting with the videos, of course. That's the reason you're all here, and I'm here to explain it to y'all. I will say though, this year has been pretty disappointing in terms of videos. Only 2 videos came out this year, and there has been months upon months where I just haven't released any videos, or even working on any scripts. That's pretty poor for my standards, and I really feel like I need to improve it. The only excuses I really feel like I have are with motivation, since I feel like I want to do other things as well, and it can be pretty hard to squeeze videos into there, especially considering the scale of the videos this year. Like, Jesus Christ, they're pretty long. Time, which will be explained a lot more in the personal section near the end, but as for now, I will say that time is kind of the essence, and I need to use it for more productive things in my life. And video ideas, since this channel is kind of in the middle of a crossroads of where I want to take it, and what kind of subject matters I want to talk about. For a good amount of 2023, I didn't really have any ideas of where to take it. But now, starting in September, I have a pretty decent idea of where I want to take the channel in terms of both reviews and critiques. So stay tuned for when those kind of things come out. I also have some scripts in the backlogs as well, and hopefully with some reworking, they could fit in the channel pretty well and be some great videos to add to the lineup. But yeah, that's all the excuses I really have for the lack of videos this year. It really sucks that I didn't release too many videos in 2023, considering I really still have passion for the hobby. I really do. But I've overall kind of slacked this year, and I've also focused on some other hobbies like art, so that really did diminish the videos. Thankfully though, starting in November 2023, and hopefully continuing into 2024, that video mojo of mine has been starting to get back into me. Some videos have been going along pretty nicely, and hopefully I should get more videos out in 2024. Will that be the result though? Well, that's for 2024's retrospective. But for now, let's talk about the 2 videos that I did actually release. They may have been few in number, but the quality of them certainly did improve a lot over last year's, I feel. Probably one of the big strides I made in 2023. But yeah, let's start with the first video I released in 2023, that being the Donkey Kong Country video. This video was the very first victim of what I like to dub Spacey procrastination syndrome. Basically, this is the first ever video where I started slacking on the video making process, taking way too long than it really had to be. Though, in this case, I consider it both a positive and a negative. For the negative, it kinda took a toll on my motivation to work on the same project for so long. While the video was still made with lots of passion with it, I kinda felt like I was going through the motions at a few points. It also transitioned to my second negative, that being that I kinda cut some corners around this video. I mean, I had to review 3 versions of a game, and I also had a lot of other things around this time, so some corners had to be cut even despite my best judgments. And yeah, you can kinda tell that from the final product alone if you look hard enough. Despite some negatives though, I think there was a lot of positives that really helped the video in the long run. For example, as time went on, I got a lot better at writing, and at a certain point you could definitely tell the quality of the writing improved a lot. Things got a lot more descriptive, I could easily describe certain things, and it allowed me to get my thoughts out a lot better. It overall showed that those writing classes in college really did help me. I think this video also helped figure out my reviewing style more and allowed me to branch out to more longer form reviews, which has been something I wanted to do since the start. I don't want every single review I make going forward to be on the length of Donkey Kong Country, but it will certainly help me a lot when covering other series. And yeah, that's all I really have to say about the timing of the video overall. It's not always great, hell, some of it's pretty bad, but I overall think that time really did help this video. But onto the actual video itself, how do I feel about it in hindsight? Well, I think despite some of the flaws I have with it, it's still a great video. I did a lot of great research, I went into a lot of detail, and I got all my positives and negatives out in a timely fashion, all while still being pretty entertaining overall. Though even with my overall very positive outlook on the video, I still think there's a few flaws that do hamper it quite a bit. Firstly, the footage variety was kinda poor in this video. Sure, there was a lot of levels shown, but it often cycled through the same few environments, which got kinda repetitive. Another thing is that the versions weren't integrated that naturally into the video. They kinda just appear forcefully, rather than just appearing naturally. I do like how I made the version covering a lot less rigid than they usually would be covered, but I still felt like there should have been a more natural way of introducing them. You could tell when the script was made when I had less experience with writing. Still though, even with the issues I have with the video in hindsight, the video is still great and easily my best held up work overall, though that might be challenged once future videos get made. I overall feel like the videos in 2023 had a lot more of a transitional feel to them, going from when videos could be kind of aged poorly to videos that I feel like can age gracefully even under scrutiny. The Donkey Kong Country review is a perfect example of this, but there's also another example of this which we'll cover next that also perfectly exemplifies this for critiques. That being the Reed callout video. And oh boy, there is a lot to talk about here. I mean, this is the first edited video to reach over an hour, so you know there's a lot to talk about. First, let me mention the only issue I really have with the video. That being the audio buzzing. Yeah, at certain sections you can hear a faint buzzing around the video, and that's mostly because of the setup I had during my college, which also makes that video the first video I ever made in my college dorm rather than my own home. I had a few issues with rendering there, but it was mostly the audio I had trouble with during that time. And that was kind of reflective in the final product, as you could probably hear. But other than that one mild issue, the rest of the video was great, and easily one of my best works I've ever made. The research I did was unprecedented for me at the time. The script was refined to a T, with no bad moment whatsoever. Despite the audio issues, the delivery was great and had genuine emotion to it. And the editing was pretty superb for my standards, doing a lot of techniques which I often don't really do while editing. It overall makes for a great video, which I still love rewatching to this day. But wait, there's even more to this video. Something that happened after the video's launch that completely and utterly surprised me was the ripple effects it would have over across the groups that Reed was a part of. A lot of the people who had experienced a lot of Reed shenanigans decided to comment on the video and share their stories about Reed. It gave me a lot of insight into what the hell Reed did with other people that I didn't know about. Some other people even decided to spread it around to other communities, which completely and utterly shocks me because I never thought it would have that wide reach of an influence. Hell, thanks to the video's influence, more rants and callouts on Reed are happening as I speak, which is really great to hear. Reed's degeneracy should be more known about, and I'm really glad that more people are figuring out the dark truth about Reed. It gives me major positive vibes with the influence the video is having on people. Just saying, if you spread around the video, you get my approval. And yeah, that's all of the videos. See, I told you all there will be a lot to talk about. Makes me a lot more optimistic about the output I'll potentially have in 2024. But yeah, let's exit the video store for now and enter into the art gallery with my artwork. And yeah, it is artwork. There's nothing really much I could say here, considering it really has just mostly been the same since 2022. My skills peaked in 2022, and 2023 is more 2022. Simple as that. Still though, 2023 has had a lot of great artwork in my opinion. and I'm really glad I managed to push the expressions a lot more compared to the last few years. The only big flaw I have with this year is that some of the expressions were really poor, and they don't really hold up that great. But that's the biggest issue I have with the art this year, then I certainly have improved quite a bit. For 2024, I do aim to hopefully exaggerate the expressions even more and make for even more consistent anatomy. All of that is great and all, but I do feel that there is one issue which will affect my motivation quite a bit. That being, my opinion of the art community has really soured throughout the year. It's mostly the art tantrums I have seen them have over the year which has truly soured me the most. Some of it is somewhat justified, but other times it's just been completely utterly unreasonable and just makes the art community look more like a laughingstock. I also don't really like the stock formulas they push too, which generally also make it unappealing as someone who wants to aim for uniqueness overall. I don't want to go too in-depth for now since I want to save this conversation for another time, but those are a few reasons why I really don't like the art community, and why it's really soured on me in 2023. Now that we have the art stuff done, let's talk about the one thing I really wanted to talk about a few minutes ago. It's gonna be kinda big, so brace yourselves. I am turning 20 in 2024. Yep, the big 2-0. People in their 20s are basically hitting their prime at this point, and I am kinda worried about that. Okay, not so much for the content I'll produce in my 20s, but the things I have to do to grow up in my 20s. I'm gonna be finishing up college in a few years. I'm gonna have to get a stable job, since for as much as I want YouTube to be sort of a secondary income source, I really don't want to rely on it for any sort of primary income. And, God forbid, I'm gonna have to get a house eventually. Also, I need to get myself a sex partner eventually. But currently, I don't know anyone locally who likes nerdy spurgs, so I'm gonna hold that off for now. Yeah, as you can tell, that is a lot. And honestly, I'm not sure how much I can find room for the things I love doing as hobbies. Hopefully I'll have enough time to insert my hobbies somewhere in my life, but that might not always be a possibility. I seriously hope I can continue what I'm doing because I really enjoy all the support y'all give me. But who knows the fate of the things in the future? But who knows, I'll still try to continue to make stuff even if the worst possible outcomes happen. I am a massive meteor of passion and I'll be sure to share it around the internet. But yeah, I hope everyone understands where I'm coming from with my issues because this has been something that's been on my mind for months. Hell, all of this has been on my mind for months. And that's why I don't need a script for this video because I've been thinking this for a while now. This isn't necessarily a sign of any sort of distress or anything. I've just been thinking about what kind of things my future's been holding as I've been getting older. And I honestly feel like this is pretty important to share with y'all because I think this is going to shape my future. I just hope y'all understand where I'm coming from and hope for the best for me. Because even if life brings its hardships to me, I'll still keep my head up and bring my optimistic tone with me. And honestly, that's a pretty nice way to end things. 2023 may not have been the most eventful year, but I still feel pretty happy around the year. And I have grown a lot more momentum compared to the previous year as well, which should hopefully mean more stuff for 2024. And honestly, despite all the droughts, I hope you all have enjoyed the videos I did make in 2023, and hope to support me in the future. If any of y'all want to support me in a more financial way, and give me some money for the future, you can always subscribe to my Patreon, where I give early access to whatever videos I make, and share all kinds of progress as well. Should make communication a lot more clear, that's for sure. But even if you're just a casual viewer who just supports me via views, likes, or comments, I still hope you really did enjoy the video, and join along the ride for 2024, because right now, the new year is fast approaching, and I hope you all enjoy the ride 2023 offered. So for now, I'll end things like how I usually do, with one big word. Goodbye!